Martian is a new space film directed by Ridley Scott and is starring Matt Damon, who plays Mark Watney, who is on this exploration on Mars with Jessica Chastain, Michael Pena, Kate Mara, Sebastian Stan, Axel Henny. A storm happens and they all have to evacuate the planet, but Mark gets hit by debris, and so the rest of the crew have to leave him, and they all assume that he is dead, but it turns out he is not dead. Mark is alive, and now he either has to stay stuck on Mars until his inevitable death, or he can, as said in the movie, science the shit out of this and use his smarts, his wits, and whatever resources he has to survive long enough for the people on Earth who eventually find out he is still alive to figure out a way to rescue him. Now again, this movie is directed by Ridley Scott, who has given us such classics as Alien, Blade Runner, Thelma and Louise, Hannibal, Gladiator, Black Hawk Down, and American Gangster. And to clear something up real quick, American Gangster is about Frank Lucas, who I called Frank Castle, which is the real name of the Punisher. I made that mistake in my review of Black Mass, and I wanted to clear that up real quick. But back to Ridley Scott, this is also the same director who gave us Robin Hood, Prometheus, The Counselor, Exodus, Gods and King. As you can see, his track record has gone down in recent years, but with The Martian, I can honestly say that this is the best thing he has done in recent years. And I really mean that too. Like, first of all, the many strengths of this movie is that this is ultimately a man versus nature type movie. Matt Damon plays Mark Watney well. Like, he's this smart, likable guy who's just in this really bad situation and tries to make the best out of it with his wit, his smarts, and it was really cool seeing him use his knowledge as a scientist and a botanist to survive, and it was really cool seeing him incorporate this science into surviving. And watching him eventually communicating with the people on Earth who find out he is still alive and try to bring him home. This movie is also surprisingly funny than I expected. Now, granted, this isn't like ha ha ha, laugh out loud funny. It has the right amount of humor, the balance out between the humor and the seriousness of the situation. Like Mark Watney, it would have been real easy for him to go mad and crazy after being stuck on this planet for so long. But no, he remains positive, and he's just like, no, I'm not going to die here. I like characters that are all like, look, worst case scenario, I'm not going to make it, but I'm not going to go out without a fight, or at least trying. Among Mark being positive, there are also times where you really felt the weight on his shoulders, and he was really starting to doubt if he's ever going to make it. Among the great performance by Matt Damon, there's also the supporting cast, like I already mentioned Jessica Chastain and the others crew members. And it was great seeing them cope with the situation that their friend that they left on Mars and assumed was dead is actually still alive. But you also got Jeff Daniels and Chiwetel Ejiofor. They were great in the movie as well, and it was cool seeing the movie going back and forth between Matt Damon on Mars trying to survive and Ejiofor and Daniels' characters trying to do everything in their power to find ways to rescue him the best and the safest way possible. Hell, even Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino, was great in the film as well, and I loved what he added to the film. The visuals in this movie are very spectacular. This really is a theater experience. The Mars and space aspects of this movie was done very well and beautifully. And Ridley Scott did a great job making Mars pretty much a character. I want to bring the humor aspect of this film up again, because in the past 3 years, we have gotten 3 science fiction space films. In 2013, we got Gravity, which was a good movie, but let's be real, that was more of a visual theater experience. And then last year, 2014, we got Interstellar, in which good movie, but again, I did feel like Christopher Nolan was reaching for more than he can bear, and I also feel like that movie was missing an element that I felt The Martian had more of, and that was making it fun. The Martian was fun because I felt like, if you're going to incorporate science in this movie, make it fun, or at least don't make it so serious that when the science stuff come on, it doesn't feel like a science class with a bunch of cool visuals. That's what I felt the movie Interstellar did, but as opposed to The Martian, between the science, the space aspect, and the survival part of the movie, you gotta make it fun, and that's where I felt the humor fitted. In the end, I was surprised with how much I loved this movie. It was a nice, contained story about this guy who is fighting against the odds to stay alive, and the people coming together to bring home this one person. And I really mean that last part, because in a world where you see a lot of bad stuff happening in the world, you see it on the news, it was nice to see a movie about people coming together to save this one person, and I find that really inspiring. This movie was great all around, from the script, the storytelling, the direction, the cinematography, the visuals, the characters played by great actors. I was going to give this movie an A+ for full price, but then I wondered, somewhere down the line, I'm going to be like, why didn't I just give this movie what it really is? Because I honestly can't find any negatives with this movie. So I'm going to give The Martian an A++. I'm so glad I saw this movie and it didn't disappoint. Because I was actually going to skip out on this movie and wait till it's available on home media. But then everybody was raving about this movie, and eventually I was like, you know what? I'll have to see it for myself, because I didn't want to happen to me what happened to me near the end of the summer, where I skipped out on Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, and the universe punished me by giving me a shitty Fantastic Four movie a week later. That's it for the day, and thank you so much for listening. If you like what you see, subscribe to this channel, subscribe to my other channel. The links are in the description below. And be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Movie Pilot, and Periscope. Peace.